Hey, what's up everyone? This is Silver Slayer. Thank you for tuning into this video. I have a great video in store for you guys and gals today. It's probably one of the most important topics as a silver stacker. So we're going to break this down. Before we start, make sure to smash that like button, subscribe if you're new, see if this video can get 200 likes. I definitely think 300 likes. Smash the like button if you love precious metals. Now, a couple weeks ago on my channel, I asked if you think or how are the markets changing? How are the gold and silver markets changing? Or are they? And I asked that question because some of us have been stacking for several decades, maybe 5, 10, 15 years. And how are the markets different today than they were? Maybe, like my example was, I think there's more speculation in the markets today. What I mean is Donald Trump can tweet a single tweet, especially since technology has grown so far. A single tweet could send markets flying, where 5, 10 years ago that wouldn't be the case. More speculation, more rumors, lies, myths are creeping in and affecting the prices at larger rates than before. Before, I think it was solely off of supply and demand, right? It was solely off of the metal, the production, but nowadays I do see it almost becoming like Bitcoin, full of speculation, and that could be good or bad. I think in the long run that's going to be terrible, because it kind of takes away silver's the whole reason why silver is so valuable, because it has real value inside of it, not the dollar attached. But as the dollar attached becomes more influenced, things can get a little wonky, if you see where I'm headed with that. So I don't think, and this is the thing, to wrap up my thought on this, I don't think that's going to last forever. I think silver's market is going to pull away from gold coming soon as well. Right now they're so correlated, they're so intertwined together that look at this chart. Gold and silver move almost identically. But I do think over time, silver is going to start rising or falling differently than gold. I mean, it's still going to look pretty similar, but not like this. Silver's going to distance itself from gold's little brother. And that's because silver's an intrinsic value and a monetary metal. Gold is just monetary, so there is uses for silver in industrial. Like if the economy starts growing, needs more silver, silver gets ramped up in demand, production, that could be great. So if the economy does start to recover in the next couple of years, silver could benefit. Gold, not so much. People aren't worried if the economy's in great shape. So I could see silver start to pull ahead of gold in the next coming 5 or so years. See, that's something that people don't think about. You have to think forwards. But anyways, I just wanted to share that because I passed the question on to you. How do you think the markets have changed? And the most important reason I'm asking this is because we have to learn how to adapt and change with them. If you're stuck in your old ways from 15 years ago, how you used to invest, oh, the markets used to be like this, sorry to say, but you're going to lose a lot of money. You have to adapt. You have to adjust. The markets are ever changing. Money's ever changing. People are ever changing, right? Situations are ever changing. Everything's changing. The economy's changing. You have to change with the times, especially as an investor. I mean, if anyone's going to change with the times, it has to adjust and adapt. It's investors. And I say it like this, right? I say it like this. Bitcoin said it so straight. Everyone that doubted me on investing in Bitcoin, saying it's a fake coin, it's a scam, look at how much money you guys missed out on. I don't want to say I told you so. I'm trying to use an example so you can think realistically about this situation. A lot of people missed out on a lot of opportunity and a lot of money because they thought that they were stuck in their ways and didn't want to adapt and adjust to a new time. We're living in new times. It's a virtual coin. Now, not to say that Bitcoin's perfect. It's definitely not perfect, but you get what I'm saying, though, right? So I passed the question on to you. I would love to hear what you think about this topic. Mainly, there's kind of two parts to it. How have the gold and silver markets changed from when you started to nowadays? And also, Where do you think they're going to be headed? Do you think gold and silver are going to separate or stay as closely in tune as they are? Now, I have an article actually. I have an article covering this. So I've always asked that question in the past, but it was always just from my insider asking someone else. I asked a couple of my friends this question, and I found an article. It was actually written recently. This was July 24th, 2020. So let's see what they have to say. Link is in the description. So the gold and silver markets have changed. What about you? And that's the key question. Are you changing with the markets? The 2011 to early 2019 precious metals bear saga was broken only by 6-month bull hiatus in early 2016. That was July 2016 high of $21 silver, which then gave most of the rise back over the next 2 years. Now, in spite of some very powerful evidence to the contrary, the general investing public still questions both the validity and upside potential of the physical precious metals and the share prices of producing miners. My premise today is the physical gold and silver market has fundamentally changed. And if you intend to gear up for and stay on this evolving multi-year historic run, you had best do the same. And that's so true. I love that they're putting this in the way that I was also concerned about. We tend to spend a lot of time looking to the rearview mirror, especially when under duress. Connected to this is something psychologists call a recency bias, which simply means that what has happened in the near to intermediate past tends to inform and influence us as how we should behave in the future. The 2011 to early 2019 precious metals bear saga was broken only by 6-month bull hiatus in early 2016, which gave then most of the rise back over the next 2 years. Now, in spite of some very powerful evidence on the contrary, the general investing public still questions both the validity and upside potential of physical precious metals and the share price of producing miners. Now he says you better do the same. Significant increases in demand, especially in the West, tend to begin subtly with large purchase and storage by high net worth individuals. Over the last year or so, gold and silver ETF inflows, which are supposed to be backed by growing amounts of metal, have been surging, setting monthly records time after time. In just the last 2 years, silver bullion held in trust by these ETFs has risen from a 22 million ounce loss in 2018 to an 81 million ounce gain last year. You heard me correctly. 22 million loss to an 81 million gain. And ETF holdings are still marching higher. Ounces vaulted under the SLV, which holds almost 1.5 of the silver owned by the world's ETF, is published daily and has become a must-follow item for speculators and investors alike. As such, the trust's mission of mirroring the metal's price serves as a proxy for investment silver demand. By the middle of July, as reported by Adam Hamilton, SLV held over 516 million ounces of silver. Adam believes that this current rise is caused by institutional investors, stating that the near vertical holdings built as highly consistent and disciplined. It has happened whether silver is rising, falling, or grinding sideways. And that's a really interesting point. That it really is. It's a win-win situation. When even when things are going downwards, like right now or about over the last couple of weeks, if silver is starting to go downwards, that still has a lot of buyers. There's still a lot of opportunity because people want to buy back. And then when the price gets higher, not only are people selling, but people are also buying when it's higher because they see the price rising, the herd mentality. So whether the price is low or high, the market's good or bad, there's still heavy demand into the market, which is interesting. It's very interesting. In addition, central banks, probably the largest buyers of gold over the last decade, have been becoming unremitting accumulators. For all their public posturing about gold not paying interest, gold being a barbarous relic and pet rock, they certainly have been doing just the opposite. And that's what they want you to think. They want you to think it's a pet rock. It's only valuable because it's shiny. They know that's not true. Silver is the most highly conductive metal for thermal conductivity and electricity. They know this. They want you to think that because gold and silver is a direct threat to the US dollar. It's literally a threat. They want you to invest into stocks, things that are pegged to the dollar, because they can still control you. When you're in debt, you're a slave to the system. If you invest into precious metals, you have taken the power away from them, and they don't like that. And it's interesting to look at that because now it makes sense why people try to bash sweet precious metals under the rug. So we can go. Let's dig a little deeper. So The top prize for thinking backwards must go to Canada, which, although it was the world's eighth largest gold producer, holds next to nothing. Its puny reserves could probably fit on a sturdy coffee table. The large buying build in both gold and silver has reached the stage where individual investors are starting to realize that far from being a flash in the pan last spring, elevated premiums, long delivery delays, and difficulty in finding metal are all becoming the norm. Silver shortages becoming the norm. Higher premiums becoming the norm. Actually, the U.S. Mint just announced 15 of their products, mainly like the America the Beautiful series, some of their proof stuff, maybe the commemoratives or whatever. They're boosting the premiums on those, dramatically rising. And what's that? What is that going to do to the markets? Is that going to make the market more highly sought after, or is it just going to flood them out? Because I don't know. That's a whole other topic. I dove more into that yesterday in my video. But what do you think about that as well? I mean, purposely boosting premiums. I mean, I've only ever seen that done with like the Chinese mint, maybe like the Krugerrand or the Silver Swan, but nothing like that though. Just blatantly just saying, hey, we're gonna up the price on this substantially. The price usually rises substantially from the consumer doing it, but not the producer. So my suggestion: expect these trends to persist and become noticeably worse as we move into the fall months, typically one of the strongest time frames for both metals. The biggest decrease in silver mine supply is recorded in history, going back from the 1940s, has taken place the last 4 years. And this was before the pandemic. That's crazy. As Jeff Clark notes, in 2019, only a single new primary silver mine came online anywhere on the globe. Not to mention that due to the pandemic this year, we can expect further 10-20% production increase. So, if you have not yet to acquire enough for your needs, then you better get on the stick. That's so true. Time is running out. I mean, I'm not trying to say that silver is going to explode tomorrow, and the prices are about to be taking off, within a week or so. You have more time than that. But the longer you procrastinate, the less time, the less amount of silver you can get. I'm buying a lot of silver on a monthly basis, especially right now around the holidays. There's a Black Friday sales, Cyber Monday sales. Take advantage of that stuff. Take advantage of that stuff, because trust me, you do not want to be one of those people looking back in 5-10 years from now wishing you could go back in time and pay $25 for an ounce of silver. I guarantee that's going to happen. Look at the people wishing they can go back in time and buy Bitcoin when it was 1800 when I told you to buy it. Now it's 11,000. It was up to 19,000. You don't want to be one of those people kicking yourselves in the butt while everyone says I told you so. Take action right now while you still have a chance. So anyways, don't keep waiting for lower paper prices in hopes of getting some cheap metal. And that's so true. If it drops down, like maybe 25 is too high for you right now, let's look at it like this. Let's say you're used to buying silver around $21. So that's your price you're kind of desensitized at. That's the price you accepted. So when it went to like 22, 23, you're like, that's pretty pricey, but I can still buy it. But then it goes 24, 25, you're like, this is too high. I got it from 21. I can't pay $4 more than I'm used to. And that all is your perception, and your perception is irrelevant in the market. Whether you got in at $15 or $21 does not matter. I got in at $21 several years ago, around 8-9 years ago, something like that. Some people got in at $5. Some people got in at $11 in March. No matter what time any of us got in is irrelevant. We have to look at what's happening. Look at it like this. When silver really does take off, especially if you're planning to sell in 10, 15, 20 years, a $4 difference in price is going to be laughable. It's not going to matter. It's not going to matter. We're talking about much, much higher prices. And if you can get more ounces right now, then do it. Go for it. So anyway, let's keep on moving on. So as investors with this mindset found out last spring, holding out for $12 silver simply meant they had to pay $20 as opposed to being able to just a few months before get it for $17, which included only single dollar premium over spot. So don't be zinc penny wise and copper pound foolish. Real money, gold and silver, unlike the fake stuff in your wallet, holds and builds value as a counterweight to the ongoing depreciation we have all been experiencing in fiat currency purchasing power. Oh, did I mention that just since 2000, those paper promises you've been collecting have declined in value by 44%. In 20 years, the dollar's declined 44%. As far as gold and silver since then, try working the math on the scratch paper for these statistics. Gold in 2000 $265 today, 1800. Silver in 2000, $4.75 today, $22. On the way for both metals over the next few months, fill in the blank. You can see how over time the dollar loses value, and over time gold and silver rises in value. You're putting your money in a time capsule, you're hedging against inflation, and it makes perfect sense. So I thought this was a great article, great topic. I'm so excited to hear what you guys have to say. How do you think the markets have changed? How do you think that? Do you think that maybe nowadays supply and demand are what are the main things, or do you think the dollar index is more powerful? What do you think? Because this is the thing. The dollar index and gold and silver are pretty opposite, polar opposite. When the dollar index is down, gold and silver is high. When the dollar index is high, gold and silver is down. But I have noticed a couple times in the last probably a few or so years where they both went up or they both went down at the same time. And when that happens, it's a very unique situation, but maybe that's starting to be the norm. What happens when the dollar isn't what happens when, regardless of stock market volatility, regardless of the dollar's strength, when gold and silver are rising or falling? What if they got detached from that? What would the markets look like? Silver's true value is honestly unknown, because anytime we do look at silver's price, it's pegged to a specific point in time when those things are also affecting it. And what's going to happen when there is no stocks? What's going to happen when the dollar has changed drastically? What's going to be the price of silver? Interesting stuff. I'm not trying to say the dollar is going to go away, but our monetary system, our financial system is definitely changing, ever changing, and I can guarantee within the next 50 years it's going to be much, much different than it is today. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you thought this video was educational, informational, or at least entertaining, make sure to smash the like button. Subscribe if you're new. I post daily videos, 2 videos a day, giving you the newest stuff, the most up-to-date stuff happening in the gold and silver world. You need to be subscribed, because especially with what's happening right now, how much stuff is happening, you need to be updated on a day-to-day basis of what's happening, why the prices are acting like this, and what you should do about it. That's why you subscribe to my channel, because I will give that for you. I'll do all the work for you. Instead of looking through countless amounts of articles trying to get it, I'll summarize everything and break it down for a 10-15 minute long video. You can go on with your day. Anyways, thanks for tuning in. This was Silver Slayer. I'll see you guys soon. Peace.